Video I'm going to show you how to turn this into this. Let's go. People, welcome to the video. Before we get started, two things. First off, I just want to say thanks for clicking on this and hopefully you enjoy it. If you have any tips, tricks, methods, anything like that, let us know in the comments and I'll be reading through them because every day's a school day, always learning, and I'll be keen to know how you do things differently, to be honest. And second of all, I just want to apologise. I'm so used to filming things for Instagram. I filmed the whole thing in a vertical mode or vertical view. So it's very, very frustrating, I must be honest. Hopefully you can get past that and enjoy the video. And if you do, let us know. Thanks a lot. So, time to get all of this stock machined. I'm currently pushing everything across the top of the planer. You do this on both the widest part and on the thickness of the board. Doing this will create two 90-degree edges, or a 90-degree corner and two planed edges. Once this is then done, you'll put it through the thicknesser, as you'll see in a minute, and this then follows suit and is parallel with those two planed edges. See, there's lots of machining involved. Those small strips I was ripping down on the table saw a minute ago, they're actually going to be for the moulding for both the frame and the door. But anyway, back to the table saw. I'm currently ripping up what appears to be the legs or jambs and the stiles. So those are the small strips I was talking about, and time for marking. Now, using my square, I'm just marking out all of my mortises. And this is on the stiles of the door by the looks of it. I should know, I did just make this, but here we are. Now here I love to use the actual stock size that you're going to use. Reason being, you can never get it wrong. Like if you're 0.5 of a millimetre out when measuring, that does make a difference. You know, using your stock, you know it's going to be the right size, so this is just my method of choice. I'm currently just working out the positioning of both my channel for the Accoya panel and also the rebate, so just currently working all of that out now. So over to Mr. Noisy, aka the router table. I've got a flute bit in there, just setting this up because this is what I'm going to be using to run all of my rebates and channels. Currently chopping in where my mid rail is going to go. I need to cut a 90-degree and also increase the length of the channel which the tricoya panel will be sitting in. So I'm just doing that with the chisel right now. Now back over to the bench. I'm currently marking out all of my rails. So this currently is the top rail. This is the bottom rail, always a bigger bottom rail, and that piece there, that is for the frame. So it's the bottom rail on the side light sections of the frame. I'm just marking out my first tenon. This is a step shoulder, as you will see in the next clip. I actually just moved workshop, and during the process of moving there's a weight inside this mortise machine, and it basically acts as a counterweight for the lever that you pull down. So without it attached, the lever just becomes extremely loose and will just drop. The reason I mention this because as I was in there reattaching the weight, I thought I'd just touch everything else up with the castor oil grease and just make sure everything was properly lubricated. So as you can see here, my fingers are absolutely caked because someone let me loose with a tin of castor oil. When you're doing a mortise and tenon, just a little tip, always do your mortises and then fit your tenons to the hole. It's just a method that I was once taught, and just passing that information along. In fact, it's probably good to drop the reason why. The mortise hole can never change, but you can always shave off your tenon, so it just works well that way. So for anyone who doesn't know, I keep mentioning Tricoya. Tricoya is an MDF board which is suitable for outdoor use. I believe it's 50 years above ground and 25 years in ground. So with the size of the board being 8x4, with that coming to mind, it's an extremely useful product, but it just comes with a hefty price tag. As you can see just then, I was sanding the boards just to key the surface in order for this glue to adhere properly. So now just spreading this along and just laminating it to create 2 thicker sections. I'm currently cutting all of my shoulders for my tenons. So, time for some dominoes. This is the mid rail and bottom rail for the side light section of the frame. For anyone who doesn't know what a domino is, it's basically a loose tenon joint. Festool bought out a machine which cuts a slot in one side of the stock and one side of the other stock. You put in a loose tenon or a wide dowel, and it creates a tenon joint, a loose tenon joint. frame assembly. Just gluing in all of my dominoes. I'm using type 1 here because I don't want to use the polyurethane, which I'm going to be using for the rest of the project. Reason being, because the dominoes are such a tight fit, I don't really want the expanding foam trying to push it apart and causing a fight I don't need. So time to get all of this glued up. 2 side panels, which I'm starting with. So now onto the glue up of the door. I'm using a polyurethane glue. I believe the brand is Evo Stick. It's a green tube and you just use it in a cork gun. I often find that this polyurethane doesn't expand as much as some of the others I've used in the past, and this is a bonus to me really, especially with tight joints. So now moulding time. This is what all the strips were for earlier. At the beginning of the video you saw me and I mentioned that they were all stripped for the moulding. I had to make this little 90-degree template just because some of the strips are quite thin. I was finding with it being a bearing guided cutter that they were wanting to wobble, and the moulding it didn't look great at all. I'll be honest, even still I did notice some ripples in the moulding, so there was quite a bit of sanding in the process after. All of this could have been avoided if I had a spindle moulder, but as I'm starting out I haven't got one, so in time it will come. But anyway, yeah, let's get into this, just finish off all of these lengths. Just cut my 45-degree miters on all of the moulding, gluing and pinning this in, as you will see in the next step. Just checking that everything fits nice and snugly before I add the glue and pin it in its final position. So just hoovering up any dust that's sat on these panels, and finally attaching the mouldings to the frame. So I'm just going to glue and pin this. I'm using type 1, type 3, the green one. I believe it's type 3, and then some 30mm 18 gauge pins from the Boss Stitch nail gun. So just glue and pin all of this. This glue is suitable for both interior and exterior projects, so it's perfect for this. So on to finishing. This is the Farrow Ball Pitch Black, and the primer and undercoat was dark tones. They recommend to use this with the pitch black paint. So I'm just brush applying it onto the mouldings and then going around with a small roller just to get all of the flat surfaces. This is a 1 and 2 part system, so they recommend 1 coat of primer, 2 coats of top coat. But personally, when I've done the